Do you ever feel like you're the main character in a movie called Groundhog Day, but without the charming Bill Murray and the surprisingly deep life lessons? You wake up, you drag yourself through the same motions, you scroll the same feeds, you have the same slightly disappointing lunch, and you go to bed thinking, tomorrow I'll really start living. Spoiler alert, tomorrow often looks a lot like today. We are obsessed with the idea of the perfect routine. We buy planners, download apps, and watch videos about the 5 a.m. morning rituals of hyper-successful CEOs. The promise is that if you just organize your day into perfectly color-coded time blocks, you'll suddenly unlock unlimited productivity and happiness. But what if I told you that this relentless pursuit of the perfect rigid routine is actually the very thing holding you back? What if your meticulously crafted schedule is quietly destroying your brain's ability to be creative, solve problems, and even feel alive? It sounds crazy, I know, but the science backs it up, and it points to a much more powerful and, frankly, more fun way to live. The problem isn't having a routine. Routines are essential. They free up mental energy by putting basic tasks on autopilot. You don't have to consciously think about how to brush your teeth, right? That's your basal ganglia at work, running a well-established script. This is fantastic for conserving brain power. The danger comes when everything becomes a script. When your entire day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, is a pre-programmed, unthinking sequence. Neuroscientifically, this creates a state of cognitive rigidity. Your brain loves efficiency, so it builds strong neural pathways for familiar tasks. The more you repeat the exact same routine, the deeper those pathways become, like a well-worn path in a forest. It becomes harder and harder to even think about taking a different route. This is why you feel stuck. Your brain's default network, the part responsible for creativity, daydreaming, and self-reflection, basically gets put on mute because it's never given the chance to activate. You're so busy executing the program that you forget how to write a new one. Life becomes a checklist, not an adventure. It's a bit like those people who order the exact same thing at a restaurant for 20 years. I'll have the number 3, extra sauce. You want to gently shake them and say, Brenda, there's a whole menu. There are chef's specials. Live a little. We do the same thing with our lives. We stick to our number 3 day because it's safe and predictable, and we miss out on a whole world of possibilities. We've optimized the joy right out of our existence. So how do we fix this without descending into total chaos? The answer isn't to abandon routine, but to inject it with what I call structured novelty. It's a simple 2-step process to reclaim your brain and your life. Step 1 is to identify your anchor habits. These are the 2 to 3 non-negotiable things that keep your life from falling apart. For me, it's getting at least 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning, moving my body for 30 minutes, and reading before bed. These are my anchors. They ground my day and ensure my basic well-being is covered. They are the stable foundation. Everything else? It's open for play. Step 2 is to scramble the variables. This is where the magic happens. You take the rest of your day, the parts that aren't anchor habits, and you intentionally introduce small, low-stakes changes. The goal is to gently force your brain off its autopilot mode and make it pay attention again. You're not blowing up your life, you're just changing the scenery. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take a typical workday. Instead of working at your usual desk, could you work from a coffee shop for 2 hours, or maybe just move to the kitchen table? This simple change in environment forces your brain to process new sensory information, new sights, new sounds, new smells. This awakens your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive functions and creative thinking. What about your lunch break? Instead of scrolling through social media while eating the same sad desk salad, could you take a 20-minute walk and listen to a podcast on a topic you know nothing about? Maybe ancient Roman history or the science of beekeeping. This introduces new ideas and patterns of thought. Even your commute is an opportunity. Drive a different route to work. Take the scenic way. Get off the bus 1 stop early and walk the rest of the way. Notice 3 things you've never seen before. It sounds almost childishly simple, doesn't it? But each of these tiny disruptions is like a little workout for your brain's flexibility. You're telling your brain, hey, wake up. The world is not as predictable as you think. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly engaged and alive? It was probably when you were doing something new. Traveling to a new city, trying a new skill, having a conversation with a stranger. That feeling is your brain firing on all cylinders, building new connections and releasing dopamine, the motivation and reward chemical. By scrambling your variables, you can sprinkle that feeling throughout your ordinary week. You don't need to book a flight to Bali to feel that spark. You can find it by trying a new recipe for dinner tonight. Let's do a quick mental exercise. Think about your routine for tomorrow. What's one tiny variable you can scramble? Will you do your workout in the evening instead of the morning? Will you call a friend you haven't spoken to in months instead of watching Netflix? Will you read a chapter from a fiction book instead of a business book? The possibilities are endless, and the cost of failure is zero. If you try working from the couch and hate it, great. Now you have new data. You can go back to your desk tomorrow. But you broke the pattern. That's the win. This isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about changing how you do what you're already doing. It's about trading mindless repetition for mindful variation. The irony is that by letting go of your rigid, perfect routine, you actually become more effective, more creative, and far more resilient. When an unexpected challenge arises, and it always does, your brain is already warmed up and flexible, ready to adapt and find a solution, instead of short-circuiting because things aren't going according to plan. Life is incredibly short, and it's far too precious to be lived on autopilot. Don't let your routine become a cage. Let it be a sturdy foundation from which you can explore, experiment, and play. Start today. Pick one small thing, just one, and scramble it. See how it feels. You might just find that the life you've been waiting for tomorrow is waiting for you right on the other side of that one tiny change. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If this idea sparked something in you, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into making life more effortless. And I'm genuinely curious, what's the one variable you're going to scramble this week? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to read your ideas. Until next time, stay curious.